Hey, you guys, this is Tyson Johnson with the Six Pack Dad Tribe joining you for another podcast episode. Except these are the really fun ones where we get to interview a superstar client. I've got Star Hall on the line in Utah. Star, say hello if you don't mind.
Hello? I'm a
Star, thanks for
superstar only because of my first name, however.
yeah, yeah, no pun intended, right? No, but you really have been. So why don't we get started? You're a client of ours. You've done very well in the program and just a neat dad. And why don't you, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself personally, professionally, anything you want to share, just so the audience, the dads, can relate to who you are.
Absolutely. So I live in Linden, Utah. I have 5 children, and my wife Stephanie and I have been here in Linden for about 16 years. We met in San Francisco while both attending BYU, and Stephanie was directing a group called Noteworthy, a women's a cappella group. I was singing in vocal point. And so our family since then, of course, we've raised children who love to sing. We love singing together as a family. We love the outdoors. Professionally, I'm a trained LCSW, so that's my education background. But I had done sales throughout the summers during college to make money for school, and had found some real success there. And after getting my master's degree and working for a few years as a clinical social worker, a psychotherapist, found that in order for me to provide the way that we had wanted to, I'd been better off working 4 months in the summer than a full year as a social worker. So I went back into corporate sales and started with ADP, did some medical device sales, as well as some high tech sales leadership. So a few startups. And currently, I do some consulting for a couple of startups. I always sort of keep my hands dirty in the industry, helping small companies find their revenue model and or scale their revenue model. And but my full-time work is with Family Search, doing growth strategy there for them, which is interestingly enough, it's similar to a startup kind of role where there's growth initiatives that they want to get off the ground, and they'll have me drive some of those initiatives and learn new things around how Family Search will grow. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm just very, very pleased about the experience that I've had with Tyson and with the Six Pack Dad Tribe. It stumbled upon my path, probably like for many of you, almost as though it were an answer from heaven. And so I'll pause there and let you direct further, Tyson.
Sure, yeah, and you and I remember when we did our kind of a discovery and intro call, we were laughing at the mutual connections we had on LinkedIn. Both of you and I had worked at ADP. I'm in medical device sales right now for my full-time career. We both had side gigs. It was fun to connect. We had a similar church leadership experience.
Yeah.
So you were like a really fun person to connect with, just because we have so much in common. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought. That was going to be what I wanted to visit with you next about, is what, with all that's going on in your life and working professional dad, all those things, what prompted you to join the tribe, so to speak, an answer from heaven? Tell us about that and what prompted this journey.
Yeah, well, I think there was a clear alignment of values that I sensed in Tyson, which probably a lot of us dads sensed. Even though there was nothing in the message that said, "Hey, I'm an LDS dad, and I have these common values with you." There was something different because I've tried a number of kind of diet programs, exercise programs. I've hired coaches in the past, with gym memberships, and I've done lots of things. And my experience has been kind of this roller coaster ride. And in my college years, I was very active and running, half marathons and triathlons and staying physically fit. And then, like many of us, just got so busy and so uh, sort of in my mind encumbered with all those other responsibilities that there wasn't time to put good habits first. So it was always these flash in the pan attempts, and I could lose 15 pounds in 3 weeks pretty fast, pretty almost at will, which was sort of I think a double-edged sword. It became a false sense of confidence that I'm okay. I can always drop weight when I need to, and so of course I did, and then I'd gain it back, and because the habits never changed. And so when I saw the Six Pack Dad Tribe, it was on Facebook that I initially ran into Tyson, and it just resonated. And I thought, let me look into this. And so I reached out, and we had the conversation, and everything about it seemed right, including kind of the match with, all of us being kind of committed to family, committed to career, and committed to health. And my children and my grandchildren needed me. And there's some personal catalysts that I will share with you. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. I had a big scare a couple years ago. I'd been taking high blood pressure meds, and I went into the dentist on a Saturday. They had, those Saturday hours for busy professionals. And so went in there to get some cavities taken care of. And the dentist went to take my blood pressure. And mind you, I'm already on high blood pressure medication. And I had been doing that for about a year. And he did one arm, and he goes, that can't be right. And so he said, let me try the other arm. And he said, that's not possible. Let me get my other cuff. So he got his other cuff, and he goes, I'm sorry, I can't do this procedure on you today. In fact, you need to head to the ER right now. And I said, what are we talking about? He goes, you're 280 over 180. I said, okay, that seems impossible. And he goes, well, you are. And he asked me all of the questions, do you have, you're having a headache? Are you having blurry vision? Have you been having any heart pains? So he asked me a bunch of those questions. And he goes, yeah, you need to head to the ER. And none of those symptoms had been present, but the blood pressure was very, very high. And so I got into my car, and I thought, I feel fine. That's not right. So I started heading home. And on my way home, I thought, well, my neighbor, Kent, is an MD, and MDs know more than dentists, right? So I'll go to my friend Kent, and he said, sure, come on in. And so he took out his cuff, and he put it on my right arm, and he goes, that can't be right. And he put it on my left arm, and he goes, no, that doesn't seem right. Let me go get my other cuff. And so did the same process. And he goes, your dentist is right. Not only do you need to get to the ER, but I need to drive you. You could be having a heart attack right now, that kind of thing. And so that's, I'd tried lots of things over the years. And then when that happened, I've started really searching, and I've done some intermittent fasting, and, tried to get my exercise going again, but still kind of in these spurts. So when I ran into Tyson, I thought, all right, this is, and my blood pressure with the medication and everything I've been doing is still out of balance and using all these medications, and my triglycerides still being high, and all those risk factors still there. We have a genetic link apparently that I didn't know until a couple of years ago. And we've had several of my Hall male relatives with heart attacks and strokes, and so it was time for me to get serious. And so this is the first time in 20 years, at least 2 decades, that I've been below 200 pounds for more than a couple of weeks, and it's been 4 months. And it's the first time in probably 2 decades that I have worked out 6 days a week. I do exercise all 6 days a week, and I just my triglycerides went from 680 down to 140. I'm not looking at the numbers. I think that's about right. And that was just 2 weeks ago that I got that. And my LDL. Anyway, I'm not really good at all of the different terms for the different types of cholesterol, but all my cholesterol levels are down, normal and below normal. And my triglycerides was a big risk factor, and the doctor was just super happy. And he said, so I've been going into the doctor every 3 months, and he said, I don't need to see you for a year. And so that hasn't happened since a couple of years ago, where now I have a whole different outlook on my health, and just feeling super encouraged.
If you don't mind, tell us if you're comfortable with this. I found something you did very profound. When you first got started, you told me afterwards that you'd sent an email out to your extended family. Do you mind just again the kind of the Cliff Notes version of that? Because it was so impactful to me. I added it to the course. I added it to our onboarding so that every dad who enrolls can consider doing what you did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a very supportive family, but historically, when I've tried to do something, with diet in particular, you have a family gathering and somebody's made, an awesome dessert. Like, no, you got to try it. You got to try it. I made it especially for you, kind of, and there's always family gatherings and birthdays and holidays, and those are big risks for me. And so I sent out an email to all of my immediate family members, including the in-laws that we're close to, that we visit with on a regular basis, and my children. And I didn't mention in my personal stuff that I have 2 grandbabies with my 2 oldest children. And so I sent the email out to everybody indicating that I was committing to a lifestyle because my knees were hurting. I was dealing with, exhaustion midday, drinking Diet Coke like it's going out of style just to kind of have a productive afternoon, and stuff like that. And I don't drink soda. Well, I do on date night, on a treat here and there, but and what I love is that I don't feel this pressure to not enjoy things that are delicious to me. But I also don't crave them so that I want them all the time. It's on those cheat days I can really enjoy something. And I feel liberated, that I don't actually feel like I'm on a diet. I am enjoying food, but I don't enjoy the same food. And part of the magic for me was writing that letter to my family, indicating, my commitment, and that I appreciate that anything they could do to support me in it. And I also mentioned I don't expect any of you to join me in this, but you're welcome to if you have a desire, and would love to share more with you. But I'm asking for your support to help me be strong, and to remain to develop healthy habits and remain healthy for my grandchildren, my children, for decades to come. And all of these family members are aware that I have been diagnosed with heart disease and kidney disease. By the way, I didn't mention that because of apparently that high blood pressure, because of the hours I was working, and you all know what I'm talking about. We get into this ridiculous workaholism sort of mindset, where, it's, we're very career driven and those kinds of things. My blood pressure apparently had been there for long enough that it had done some real damage to the kidneys. And I'm told by my nephrologist that I have 70-year-old kidneys. And they will function just fine for the rest of my life, but a good percentage of the kidneys are not operating. And it's just, really, really important that I stay healthy with those two risk factors in my life. And so my family was all on board. I got responses from them, and they've been super good and helpful. And they're making me healthy treats, and, making sure there's fruit and vegetables nearby. And Tyson knows that I still struggle to get enough fruits and vegetables in, but I'm not doing much with sugar and carbs, or hardly any sugar. Like once or twice a week, I'll have a little snack. But and carbs are way, way lower. Complex carbs are pretty much all I'm doing when I do carbs. And my family's helping me find that balance.
Thanks for sharing. Take a minute if you would, because most people listening wouldn't be familiar with the program itself that we teach, or a peek behind the curtain as to how we support people. In other words, they might even be thinking of downloading an ebook for $50, and then you're left to your own devices to figure stuff out. Maybe just give us a couple nuggets as far as what you've learned in the course, and how you feel like we've tried to support you along this 4 month journey. Just anything you want to share there. It can be as long or short as you want.
Right on. I'd say, Tyson, that the most important of all the things that we're doing, the most important thing for me personally is the accountability. And what's interesting about that, it's a pretty light touch accountability. It's just knowing at the end of the day that that somebody's eyes is going to be on it. And I have peers in the program that are going through something similar. And it's a healthy amount of peer pressure, but it's not overwhelming. It's taken very little time. It's probably 2-3 minutes a day for me to go and fill. I use the spreadsheet because I don't like to count every calorie like you do on the app. I think I'm going to graduate into that at some point, but I've always been kind of a spreadsheet person, and it's worked really well for me just to kind of enter in at the end of the day what I ate that day. And so for me, just kind of keeping an eye on what I'm actually eating and being truly accountable to that is huge for me. And because it matters to me that I'm keeping my commitment to Tyson, to myself, and just the really positive support from you, Tyson, and from Jeffrey and other peers in the group, just commenting here and there. And we're all so busy. We're not ever present in the community. It's a pretty light touch level of accountability and support, but it's just the right amount for me personally. And then in terms of the fundamentals, just the blocking and tackling of moving this ball down the field for me is drinking 100 ounces of water at least a day, and high protein, low carb. As many fruits and vegetables as you can get. I try to eat a salad every day. I end up probably doing a salad half of the days, but it's on my mind, and I'm looking for a way to get a salad in me on a daily basis. And when I don't, I'm still eating lean protein, and I'm getting in some good vegetables every day, just as kind of part of a meal. And then for me, when I'm snacking, I'm either doing some nuts don't have any salt, either dry roasted, nuts, some fruits, and I do some keto style things that I can get at Costco that are really good and super low in sugar, no carb type stuff. And just drinking tons of water like that. Also, I rant and rave about the Robert Irvine bars. Those things are magic for me. They really do. They make a difference for me because it's really yummy. I'm like, wow. And it's not like I'm doing, I've spent I'm sure several of you hearing this have done the same thing. I've spent hundreds of dollars a month on product to try and do certain programs over the years. And they've helped me because, you know, if I invest in something, then I try to really do it. But then when that's done, you know, I gain the weight right back. This is a lifestyle. Like I can do this forever. I'm happy. I eat really good, and I don't miss the foods that I used to crave. Like I haven't had ice cream in 4 months. I love ice cream, and I'll eat it again. I mean, I'll have it for one of my cheat nights here or there probably, but I haven't yet because I actually, it gives me kind of a buzz. I feel kind of gross. So you know, I don't want it. It's the strangest thing. I really don't want it. And when there's a chocolate cake for a birthday, I'll have a bite. You know, just because I'm supporting the birthday person and that sort of stuff. And I had a slice of each of the flavors of pie on Thanksgiving. Nice little sliver, and it was awesome. I used that as my cheat day, and I really enjoyed that pie. It was fantastic, and I didn't want any more. I didn't. And when I got hungry later, I had some turkey. You know, and ate, just pound the protein as much as possible, and I drank a ton of water, which on Thanksgiving Day in the past, boy, you just put it in front of me and it was gone. I just, just would just go for it on Thanksgiving. And I feel like it has given me um, the right habits to enjoy food as I've always enjoyed it, but enjoy the right kinds of foods and feel better. And like I've changed my pants size from I wore a 36 waist. I'm wearing a 32 waist. I just went and bought new pants last week because my pants they could just uh, even with a belt on, they could just fall right off. And I mean that's only 25 pounds, but it gives you an idea of how much of it was around my belly. Like it was a lot of that belly weight, um, and just the way my shirts fit. I'm wearing my size larges again. I have size large shirts I haven't worn for 15 years that are classics that I don't get rid of because I'm like, I really want to fit into that. You know, I want to get into that shirt. And I'm wearing different things and just enjoying the way I feel.
Well, you're thank you for all of this. I mean, you showed up ready to work, and it's neat to hear. Usually, the dads who do the best in this program, they have a very strong why, a compelling reason to make a change. And for those who are listening, this is very different than keto or paleo or Orange Theory or some of these. This is for busy dads, working professionals who still want to eat pretty normal with their families, but just a more intentional lifestyle that Star has verbalized so well. And when you sent me your before and after photos, Star, I was shocked, just at how not only you hear what's cool is rapid progress, but you hear permanent progress in the message that you're sharing. So as we wrap this up and applaud you for this story and this new way of life you're living, any I guess parting words of wisdom for anyone who's listening today as they want to get more fit and healthy in their life?
I would say give it give it a chance to just kind of trust the process and just do those simple fundamentals. That's what makes this so different. It's not a diet. It's not a program. It's a principle based lifestyle, just making simple choices every day with the right amount of accountability so that there's someone talking to you. And I've definitely had some bumps in the road where I've gained a couple pounds on some of the weeks, and I'm like, okay, there's some habit shifts here, and but just sort of stay the course and trust the science. I'm kind of a science guy, and I love data. I love numbers, just looking at the trends for myself and understanding how these simple little levers of protein and water and low carbs and exercising while I'm fasted, and I do that consistently because that's been one of Tyson's primary principles is when you do your exercise, do it fasted. And I noticed that when I have done just those fundamentals consistently over time, um, I'm enjoying food more. I'm feeling more fit. I sleep better. My stress is managed better. My relationships actually are better because I'm less grumpy.
Mm.
um, and it takes the edge off of lots of those just normal life stressors to be living this way, and to be living it in a way where I'm not breaking the bank on all kinds of potions and powders, and I'm just being smart. And I'm just moving down the path. You know, I love the football analogies. Just one snap at a time. Let's go get a first down. Let's move steady down the field, and let's block and tackle. Let's be smart and fundamental. And that's what I like about this is not rocket science. Anybody who's able to just kind of be patient with themselves, and they're challenged to get over the initial hump, we'll start to see results. I would predict within just a few weeks, you'll start to notice how it's making a difference if you're just doing the blocking and tackling every day, and trusting the science, and kind of trusting the group to support you in it.
Well, Star, just admire the man that you were before you did this, and how this just enhances who you already were coming into this, and the amount of courage that change takes, and how you've embraced that and been a source of inspiration to the tribe and those now listening on the podcast. So thanks for joining us today, and best of luck going through the holidays and starting off the new year.
Thank you, Tyson, and Merry Christmas. And I am very, very grateful for the association with the Six Pack Dad Tribe.
Us too. You're the man. Okay, keep it up till we speak next.
Take care.